Prime was basically the king of the beverage world in 2022 and 2023, pulling in over $1.2 billion in sales just by slapping its name next to the UFC, WWE, and even FC Barcelona. It was everywhere. Kids treated it like liquid gold, adults treated it like the cure to dehydration, and resellers acted like they were trading fine arts. But fast forward to now, sales have tanked over 90%, and the once must-have drink is now chilling on clearance shelves for less than $1. Basically cheaper than a bottle of questionable gas station water. So what happened? How does a creator-led empire go from global phenomenon to aisle 5 next to the expired snacks? Was it KSI and Logan Paul's greed that took down this supposedly unbeatable giant? Or was Prime just destined to collapse under its own hype balloon like every influencer trend that burns way too bright? To figure it out, we gotta rewind to the very beginning.
Prime officially hit the scene in January 2022 when former boxing rivals Logan Paul and KSI suddenly decided, hey, instead of punching each other in the face, let's sell drinks together. And somehow, that worked. Logan's announcement video blew up, over 8 million views, 400,000 likes, and demand skyrocketed so fast that people started reselling bottles online for $100, and sometimes even $1,000. Yes, $1,000 for flavored water. Humanity's doomed. When Prime launched in the UK, the chaos leveled up. Stores couldn't keep it on shelves, parents were fighting in aisles, and teenagers were camping outside supermarkets like it was a PlayStation 5 restock. Restocks vanished in minutes. By the end of year 1, Prime had already pulled in $250 million. Just 1 year later, they hit $1.2 billion, one of the fastest growing beverage brands in history. Basically, Prime wasn't just winning, it was speedrunning success. But unfortunately for them, that was the peak. And like every influencer project that blows up too fast, the cracks started showing. Cracks big enough to sink the entire brand.
The first big disaster hit when Coffeezilla dropped a 3-part investigation basically calling Logan Paul out for scamming investors with his failed crypto project. It was bad, like a career-ending trailer bad. Coffeezilla didn't hold back. He dug through the whole crypto Zoom mess and made Logan look like he'd been running a circus instead of a business. Here's part of what Coffeezilla said.
CryptoZoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked. Some of you guys think you know the story, but it goes so much deeper. I've uncovered sociopaths, billionaires, fake orphans. Did I mention fake orphans? And of course, at the center of it, we have Logan Paul himself, who has abandoned this thing, leaving thousands of fake orphans in his wake. Wait a second. Thousands of victims in his wake. Now, you'll be hearing from some of those people because their stories are heartbreaking. This is the first in a 3-part series that's been a year in the making.
The whole thing shattered Logan's reputation. Again, years of him trying to clean his image after the Japan forest fiasco, completely undone in 3 YouTube videos. People started calling him a sociopath, a fraud, and pretty much every insult in the influencer dictionary. Instead of apologizing or taking responsibility, Logan decided to do what every guilty influencer does. Hire lawyers and pretend he's the victim. Spoiler alert, it didn't help. Instead of fixing anything, Logan somehow made the situation even worse by suing Coffeezilla for defamation, because nothing says I'm innocent like trying to silence the guy who exposed you. Coffeezilla responded with another video, and once again, Logan looked like he was speedrunning public humiliation.
Logan Paul is suing me for CryptoZoo, only a year after he thanked me for it. Rather than pay back his victims fully, Logan would rather publicly humiliate himself in court by accusing me of defaming him. He's hired 5 lawyers to sue me, which he hopes will stop me from exposing him again. You see, only hours before this lawsuit was filed, I had reached out to Logan Paul about a new investigation into one of his companies, which has just been accused by the Canadian government of being a multi-layered fraud in Canada. I obviously had questions, but before I was able to get answers, Logan's team of lawyers showed up to silence.
And of course, people had opinions. The fact that he'd rather hire 5 lawyers and drag this out instead of just paying people back is crazy. Real scumbag behavior. 3 things in life are guaranteed: death, taxes, and Logan being a fraud.
A few weeks later, Logan tried to declare victory by tweeting "case dismissed," flexing a TMZ article like it was some kind of trophy. Sure, the judge dismissed the class action lawsuit, but the internet had already made up its mind. The damage was done long before the court paper were cleared. But even before the CryptoZoo drama fully wrapped up, Prime got hit with another PR nightmare. In July 2023, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer basically stood up in front of America and said, hey, maybe this influencer drink with 200 milligrams of caffeine shouldn't be marketed to children. And honestly, fair point. Schumer pointed out that a 12-ounce Coke has 34 milligrams of caffeine. An 8.4-ounce Red Bull has 80 milligrams. But a 12-ounce Kime
200 milligrams, basically pre-workout disguised as a kid-friendly drink. He urged the FDA to investigate Prime's health claims, influencer-heavy marketing, caffeine overload, and the fact that the product barely warns anyone about its risks. Not long after, health experts tore into Prime's advertising even further, saying the drink was being sold like some miracle hydration formula used by elite athletes, when in reality, the electrolyte levels didn't match the science at all. Translation, it was coconut water with a PR team, not a medical breakthrough.
And these other drinks, but Prime, especially with their marketing we'll talk about, was being marketed as just a low-calorie, tasty coconut water. That's what it is. That's essentially what this is. And if it was marketed as such, I don't think there would be a lot of pushback and criticism. The challenge is that it's marketed with professional elite athletes consuming it as this optimal hydration electrolyte beverage that is good for you when you're exercising, good for your health, good for your hydration. And so they're advertising it like it has these benefits with hydration that simply don't hold.
Then Gordon Ramsay, yes, the man who can taste a poorly seasoned dish from 2 galaxies away, decided to try Prime. And in true Ramsay fashion, he absolutely annihilated it within seconds. His review basically turned Prime into a meme overnight.
Drink Prime, which was launched by the YouTubers Logan Paul and KSI.
Yes.
Okay. Everyone's
It's a
talking about it.
hydration drink.
Oh, really? It is sold out everywhere.
That was 20 quid for that one bottle.
For that?
Just that, yeah.
20 quid. It's meant to be 2 quid.
20 quid?
We want you to give it a go.
We want you to give it
See
a
what you think of
review.
Prime. Okay, so smells a bit high.
What is that flavour you got there?
Tropical punch, it says.
Oh, Jesus.
Loosely. You've just come from the Maldives. How tropical
it's
is
like
that?
swallowing perfume. What is that?
After that brutal taste test, things went downhill even faster. Health concerns started piling up, reviews got uglier, and suddenly Prime wasn't the cool YouTuber drink anymore. Schools literally started banning it. Teachers were done watching kids bounce off walls like caffeinated pinballs.